Twin Galaxies Donkey Kong Arcade Recording Rules. The following outlines step-by-step instructions on how to properly record the arcade machine, internal components, and gameplay for submitting a Donkey Kong arcade recording. All aspects must be included on your recording, else your submission may be subject to disqualification. These guidelines are based on using a full-sized upright version of the Nintendo arcade game Donkey Kong. If you intend on playing a cocktail machine or cabaret style machine, please contact Twin Galaxies before recording your game. Important: Donkey Kong arcade machine must remain in frame of view of the camera recording at all times. The camera must never be pointed elsewhere. It must be pointed at the recording of the game machine at all times. Begin with the arcade game powered off. Introduce yourself to the camera and state the date and time. Record a walk around of the game machine showing all sides of the game, paying particular attention to showing that there are no external wires or cords going anywhere in or out of the arcade machine with the exception of the power cord. Bring the camera around to the back of the machine and open up the back door, revealing the interior of the machine. Focus your camera on the printed circuit board PCB installed and connected to the machine. Record a brief overview of the PCB, paying particular attention to showing the part number on the PCB beginning with TKG4. Show the dip switch bank and that it corresponds with the correct settings SW1, SW7 off, SW8 on. Close the back door of the game and secure it with the lock or with screws as are commonly used. The back door of the machine must now remain closed throughout the entire gameplay until the game being recorded has finished, and further interior recording will then be required. Power on the game machine at this point. Recording the flip of the switch and the resulting familiar startup sounds should be heard on camera. Bring the camera around to the front of the machine and set up the camera on a tripod or stable platform to record the game screen. Zoom in appropriately to ensure the most amount of gameplay on screen can be shown, including the score. The camera will now stay in this position for the duration of the gameplay. The monitor should now be suitably warmed up to the point where the game can be seen running on the monitor. Also ensure that the game sounds can be heard and recorded. Once the monitor has properly warmed up, keep the camera in its position recording the game screen and turn off the power to the game briefly and then back on fairly quickly. This will allow your camera to view the recording boot up garbage screen as the game program starts and then shows the attract mode. Allow the attract mode to run so that the camera can record the title screen, which must show copyright 1981 Nintendo of America, as well as the high score table, which must show the default population scores with 7650 in the first place. At this point, you have completed all the necessary pre-verifications. You may now add a credit and begin playing. Only a one-player game is allowed for submitting your score to Twin Galaxies. If you have a bad game and want to start over, you may do so at any time. However, you must allow the game to end normally. You may not power cycle the machine to obtain a quick reset. If you want to reset, kill off your men, letting the game finish, enter initials, allow the attract mode to display the title screen and high score table once more, and then you may add a credit and begin playing another game. You may play as many games as you want on the recording, or as many games as the recording can hold. However, there may be no break in recording and the game's power must remain on at all times. Once you have finished playing entirely, enter initials and zoom in on the score, allowing the camera to adequately show the score. Ensure that it is readable on the recording. Also show the high score table one last time. Adjust the camera to a wide viewing angle of the game's control panel. Open the coin door and unlatch the control panel. Flip the control panel upside down to record the underside of it. You may operate the camera manually, allowing you to zoom in on details of the control panel, showing a single bundle of wires going to the control panel. While moving the joystick in slow circular motion, record the underside of the joystick showing the restrictor plate in action as well as 4 direction actuators. The joystick itself must be an original stock 4-way Donkey Kong arcade joystick, or a replacement 4-way joystick of the exact size and shape as the original Donkey Kong arcade game joystick. Reinstall and latch the control panel back into place. Return the camera to a view of the front of the game machine as a whole and add 2 credits and hit the 2-player start button. Show the start of the 2-player game and control the player to show that the control panel has been reinstalled correctly. Allow the first player to be killed and show the start of the second player's game, and control the player once more to ensure that the control panel is still connected and working properly. While leaving the 2-player game running, resume manual control of the camera while ensuring that the game machine never leaves the camera's view. Go around the back of the game machine and open up the back door. Without touching or handling anything inside the machine, record the PCB with the game's power still on and 2-player game running, allowing the game sounds to be heard. Once again, focus your attention on the still connected PCB, showing the part number on the board. At this point, turn the game machine's power off. You will now begin recording a further in-depth view of the game's internal components. The power supply must be an original Donkey Kong arcade machine power supply. Please record the power supply showing the wires going into and coming out of it. Disconnect the printed circuit boards, PCBs, from the machine so that you can properly show all the components on the board with appropriate lighting. Record the PCB set itself, showing that it is a 2-board set. One is the CPU board, one is the video board, which should be interfaced together with 2 ribbon cables. Show the part numbers on both boards. They should begin with TKG4. Please ensure that the part numbers on the boards are readable from the recording and that the part numbers match on both boards. Show the ROM chips on both boards. Each board has 6 ROM chips. The ROM chips on the video board are located at 7C, 7D, 7E, 7F, 3N, 3P. The ROM chips on the CPU board are located at 5A, 5B, 5C, 5E, 3F, 3H. These ROM chips must be the original Donkey Kong arcade game chips, which originally included label stickers on them indicating the TKG4 model and the location of the chip's installation socket. Please record on camera any and all information written on either ROM chips themselves or the label stickers on the ROM chips. Show the dip switch bank, located approximately near C10. The switch bank must correspond with the correct settings: SW1, SW7 off, SW8 on. Show the Z80 processor located on the CPU board at 7C. It must be labeled 780C or Z80. No adjustments or additions to the PCB may be used. High-score save kits or any other hardware attachments to the Z80 processor or anywhere else on the board is strictly prohibited. You may now end the recording and submit your scores to Twin Galaxies.